What's up, Dilio, coming to you live from the Dilio T2K YouTube channel. And as you can see, there's a new addition to the family, the SA25M. In this video, it'll be two parts. The first part will probably be a story of how this ended up in my studio. And then two, what I think about those. So sit back and relax and put this on in the background. I'm going to take my time and flow with this. I don't have any script or bullet points. I'm just going to vibe out real quick. So let's rewind back. Okay, how did I end up with these speakers? And these are not cheap speakers by any long shot. These are the SA25M in the zombie colorway. So they are the black boxes with the white, not white, red cones, okay? So if you're following my live streams, you remember me talking about how I would want to check out some of the studios here in the city. There's a lot of obviously professional top level music recording stuff going on in the city of Atlanta at these major studios or really anywhere. And to be honest, I haven't really frequented a lot of these studios. I tried to intern at some, and I came across some hard times and I couldn't keep interning, but God blessed me in other ways to continue my love and passion in this music stuff, as you can see. And I said, man, I'd like to check out the studios again. And maybe, since things are a little bit different now, let's try and record at the studios. Let's see what it costs to book a room and do a cook up in the studio. And I probably will do that in 2025. I think it's a possibility, depending on how things play out. And so I was checking all these studios. And one of the studios I looked up and found was Soul Asylum Studios. And this studio is pioneered by Raphael Capone. He has a lot of things going on in the studio and has been involved in sound for a very long time, has a lot of credits to his name. And so they had options so that you could do studio tours there. And I said, why not? Let me go ahead and do a studio tour. Check out this. Seems like it was a recently built facility. And check it out. Check out the resorts, And the special thing about this studio versus any other is that this is the only one that I know of that is owned by an African-American engineer who has his own speaker line that he designed. And not some, how do I put it? It's not just speakers thrown in a box. Like, this is a really professionally built, these things are 47 pounds, by the way. Heavily built, seriously built studio monitor. And I'm like, dang, that's dope. And I've seen them before in the original colorways and stuff like that. I heard about them. Didn't really give it too much thought other than, okay, cool gear. That's awesome. I wonder what they sound like. So this is an opportunity in the studio tour to hear how they sounded like. And they sounded really good. And so it's like, wow, okay, yeah, I think I want to, And obviously, if you're in music, you want to know how much stuff costs. Because like, okay, yeah, I'll try and get one. I found out how much they cost. And I said, okay, I respect that. It is not a cheap monitor by a long shot. And I think a lot of people feel that way, but it still was a quality stuff. But when you start raising your level of monitors from, and it's not an offense to Guitar Center, but a lot of times the studio monitors there are pro sim level. And like I had a pair, I still got them, the JBL monitors. They're good, and actually they can be used in professional applications. But but the reason I was able to get a hold of those because they weren't very expensive compared to what these would cost. So back to the story. I check out the studio tour. I did the Dolby Atmos surround sound thing. Sounded incredible. It was fun. It made me sort of start paying attention to Dolby Atmos because I wasn't really paying attention. And then saw the different rooms and found out how much it costs to rent this. And so in case Dilio wants to do a Dilio T2K event, should I get the funds together, something like that, I want to organize an event, I definitely would consider the spot because it's really nice and seems to be cool parking there too as well. Do the tour, talk to the owner a little bit, and the staff, and I found out that they had raffles for these tickets. Not often, not all the time, very rare. So obviously I missed the last time it was. I was like, dang, I wish I could have participated in that raffle. And I don't even play raffles very much, and I don't even really gamble, right? We got to understand that raffles is a gamble, but in this situation, I took a calculated risk, but I knew what the dangers were. And I knew that if I did not win, I know what the loss would be, but I was willing to accept that fact because it was worth the shot to me because I think these are really cool monitors and the history behind them is awesome. So back to the story, right? I then chilling, doing my thing. I was following online and I saw a post. Oh, you're doing a raffle again for the holidays. Christmas giveaway. Christmas raffle. Not a giveaway. Christmas raffle. And I found out about that. And I said, all right, this is my shot. Let's go. Let's shoot the shot. You ready? Let's do this. And so I made up my mind. I was going to take the little extra money that I made on the side from hustling, maybe from YouTube and other things. I'm going to just get multiple tickets, right? I was like, okay, I'm going to try and get as many as I can. I had a little bit of overhead. I was like, okay, let me work with this, right? And I just started buying tickets, and I was like, dang, ain't nobody buy a ticket. And the reason I said that is because when I did do that, I saw the post. All right, we got the first ticket. That means you got a 1-in-1 chance of running these monitors. I was like, bet. Let's stop right there. No, but then I saw other people buying tickets. So I was like, okay. And I did some research on the content in the past because he's done raffles at like different events in the past over the years, very far apart. It's not like he's just trying to throw these things out. And I was like, okay, I saw what he did. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the best I can within reason. I know a lot of people don't understand it. And that's why I didn't tell anybody. That's why I didn't go telling, oh, I'm doing this. I kept it very quiet. I've, matter of fact, only told about 4 people personally that I was doing this raffle because most people don't understand. I don't think most people would understand me doing this or don't know my history in sound and live from a young age. But as the weeks got closer to Christmas Day, which is another thing, this raffle was held or called on Christmas Day at noon. All right. So I'm just doing my things. It's kind of visualizing. I'm visualizing. All right. We're getting close to the day. It's about a day or two ahead, and I'm watching the post. I'm quiet. I'm not really commenting. I'm just silently watching. I'm hitting the like on the post. I'm just silently lurking, right? I'm just like, okay, yeah, okay, you put in. I was silent with it. I wasn't telling all my friends I was doing this. People wouldn't understand. Why are you spending so much money on raffle tickets? They do not a guarantee. But I believed that there's a possibility I could get them. So I did. I stuck with it. But I just didn't run my mouth about it. And so 2 days before the time came to get the tickets, he had a post. He said, and this is the owner of the studio that was giving away these tickets. He said, all right, not only am I going to give away a pair of the white pair of monitors because he's coming white, they were clean. I was aiming for those. I was aiming for the white ones. The one who bought the most tickets is going to get a pair. I said, oh. At this time, there's no intel on how many tickets anyone else bought. I saw somebody else buy like 3. I was like, okay, I got that beat. I ain't say nothing. I got that beat. Okay. And I just stayed in my own lane. And I was like, okay. That might help me a little bit. After all, at the end of the day, this is a gamble. We don't know what's going to happen. I ain't telling everybody my business on this. Sometimes you can't tell everybody the risk because if I lost the money I put into this, no one could say, oh, man, you wasting your money. I had a dream. I had a vision. I believed in it. And sometimes you got to believe in it by yourself. So I only told the closest people I knew that, all right, I'm doing this. So the day comes, the drawing is December 25th. It's like 12:05. The football game is on Netflix. He pops up online. He has the tickets in this tumbler. I was sitting right here with my phone, like right here. And I had like the stand right here on I was okay. And I was watching it. I said, all right. He pulls the thing. He calls out and then he reaches in. I'm like, all right. I'm feeling that heartbeat. Because I just put some money in there. And side note, I bought my last ticket the day before. I was eating like a Christmas Eve lunch dinner at Golden Corral. Because I was not paying. I was not on my diet. He calls out the name, such and such. I sat here and said, boom. Because I was like, dang. Missed. All right. And I knew it. I was like, okay, missed. But there's still one more shot. And then he's like, all right, let's see who bought the most tickets. I'm not saying my government, but y'all know my government if you know. Dilio. What? Thank you, sir. You bought the most tickets. Word. I didn't get up and scream. I was just more or less shocked. Like, because if you're anything like me, you're thinking, oh man, I never win stuff like this. But I believed I had a vision. I had a whole skit I was going to do with these speakers, having them talking on Instagram and stuff. It was going to be funny. Called out my name. Boom. Okay. I scored a pair. What? So I won. And the next day, about midday, I was able to go to the studio, take a short tour. I took a tour before, but did another Atmos demo, because who's going to say no to an Atmos demo? This is my second one. I said, all right. And then we started talking, and I started listening to him, what he had to say. When you're in a situation, you may be advancing yourself, but you always want to listen to someone who may know or who's seen some things you haven't seen. So I just sat there and soaked up what he had to say, and I saw how passionate he was about sound, about him winning mid-bass competitions with his truck, learning about his passions. I'm like, okay, well, why are you doing this? Well, and he had a vision, he had a dream. It's rare, and then when you see it in person, it's almost like you're seeing a legend walk in front of you. Like you can tell there's more to it than you can see. So I ask questions, and then I shut up so I can listen, so I can soak in some vibes and soak in some knowledge. What is this dude talking about? What is he doing? Right? And I could tell that he was very passionate. He spoke about these speakers, in my opinion. He spoke about these speakers like you would a proud parent. This is how that works right there. This is how that works right there. You know, and I had this idea, and I wanted this tweaked right here, and I could have did it like this, but I didn't. I wanted to do it like this because I read you. Oh man, you know, and it was, you know, and I get that, because if you're like something, you create something yourself from a child or to something invention or something like that, you're really proud of it. And he's really proud of it, and I can see why he refuses to devalue them. Though the price may be out of reach. Well, nothing's really out of reach, but at face value, you know, honestly, you're like, okay, it's out of reach. But then after a while, it's like, okay, I see, I respect that. I ain't gonna go on a rant on YouTube and say, oh, these are. No, I'm just gonna say, yeah, I respect that. But I knew, but I was thinking, okay, and I was about to print up a picture of these on my wall for visualization. I was going to print up a picture of the white ones on the wall and stuff. But no, I was like, no, I'm going to do what I do. And at the end of the day, the cards are going to fall where they fall. And if I don't win, I take a loss, but I win for it. I took a risk. I know sometimes you got to take a risk for things. And I did. And I came out on top. So while I didn't get the white ones, the Frosties, I got the zombies. And it was great to finally talk to Raphael some more, meet the family, just be around that passion, that type of passion for music and audio and sound reminds me of when I was at Full Sail, when I was just baptized and bathed in the atmosphere of dreams in the music industry and all that stuff. It was amazing. And I tell you, these bad boys is heavy. So yeah, I won a pair. And I'll be transparent about that. I always thought that, okay, maybe I'll get a big placement, or, you know what I'm saying, I'll come up, do a big production deal and come up on some. But no, God had a different plan for me. He had a different plan. And the plan included me getting a pair, not in the color that I originally thought I would get them in. So as we segue, it's like, okay, I got these hooked up. Now my JBLs are put to the side. I got to get new stands for these units. I got to get to more of the situation of getting these set up. And I got to get a monitor switcher. And I'm going to go with the Behringer XL because I think it has the most options for the bang of the buck. Mackie Big Knob has more, well, costs more, almost double the price of this. And I could go to a GC right now in town and go get it. But I chose patience and said, okay, I'm going to wait. Order it and wait for the process, get those in, and that way I can get my sub back in, because that brings me to how these sound. So the first thing I listened to on these, this is part 2, and I'll probably put a time marker. The first time I listened to these units, I was like, okay, but I didn't blast them. I just let the sound creak in a little bit. It's almost like turning on a faucet just a little bit, just to make sure the lines work. And I was going to record like the first time I heard them reaction, but no, this is my moment. Let me just live a little bit. So I turned them on. I heard them. I was like, okay. And I had expectations because I'm like, okay, cool, these have subs, so I don't need my JBL sub anymore. But these aren't that type of boxes. One of the things that Raphael told me is that these are studio reference monitors. These are not mains. And I had to play that in my head. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, so these are flat. So while these do have two subs on the side of them, it still plays flat. You will hear the frequency, but don't expect the frequency to shake the room, right? And don't try to turn it up. There's no limiters in these. He told me there's no limiters in these, and he did that. He told me that the reason he did that was to make them flat. I hope I'm not talking about any trade secrets, but yeah, the spectrum shows that these are pretty doggone flat. So there's been anechoic chambers tested on these. Like there's a lot done. I wish that he did a lot of that on tape. A lot of stuff that he did to test it to make sure these are tight in the anechoic chambers and all the processes that I wish that was on tape. That would show more about the process these are made. So it's almost like you got something special here, but you don't know, you can't fully comprehend. I don't have to fully understand it all. And I'm a tech guy, and of course I want to know all the specs, but it's like, yo, there's something for here. But back to how they sound. They sound great. They sound great. I was like, they got good and loud, and they didn't break up. Almost too loud to where it's like, okay, if you listen to them too loud, it's like you're going to fatigue your ears. So you got to turn them down, but you're going to hear everything. They crank. The subs, though, you do hear the subs, but they do not do sub frequencies like a subwoofer that's on the ground. For my comparison, when I listen to these versus how I had my JBL set up with the sub, that sub was working overtime. I have a 10-inch JBL sub in the corner, and I had that thing turned up, and it was cranking, man. It's cranking, and that's feeling low. Now, so when I listen to these, I don't get that room shaking, sub. You will hear it, and if it's louder than everything, it will sound louder than everything because it's giving you a flat reference. Okay, so even when you turn them up, I started to hear where the limitations were. I was like, okay, don't put these any front. And I'm watching the cones, right? You got to watch the cones. I was watching the cones move, and I didn't hear physical noise of any of the drivers. You know how sometimes when the speaker gets driven enough, you actually can hear the material rubbing against each other. None of that was going on here with these. And so, okay, I see where these are going in a personal setup because when you're able to sit down with them and listen to them, and the first thing I listened to was the Mess album from Dilio. I was like, the first song I'm playing on through these is the Mess album. And I was happy to find out that a lot of my mixes translated very well with these speakers. They translated very well. They translated good. I like more subs, but I understand that these are not party sub speakers, just like how these Sennheiser headphones are not party headphones, even though I be wanting that bass to shake and where you feel it in your chest. I be wanting that, but these are not that. But as far as reference is concerned, and these monitors were telling me about myself in the mids, and I mix good, but then I noticed, man, this snare is too hot. This other part is too low. I need to hear this more. I'm not hearing okay. But otherwise, a lot of stuff is good. The low end is tight. The high end is tight and sweet. But the mid balance is important too. And these will really tell you about yourself in the mids. And so I really enjoy them. And that's just my first impression. Now, I know it's going to take time for me to get to know them. I want to put them in the horizontal configuration because this has to be turned over in a different way if you're going to let them vertical. I want them to be in a more of a horizontal position, so I have to get a stand that can support the feet of these unit right here in a stable way. And I kind of want to find a way. I may have to just build myself some shelves like myself. I may have to get some wood, that's probably the most economical thing I can do is build my own shelves for these type of speakers so that I can bring at least my CLA 10s back and then also get a control monitor selector so I can bring the sub back in as a separate mix and blend and all that. So that's how they sound. I'm still getting to know them. I'm very slow to draw conclusions so quickly. If you're learning about me over the past few years, I'm very slow to draw a final conclusion on things, especially when it comes to gear and other things, because there's still you need to know, right? So if I were to say, no, they ain't got enough bass. Wait a minute. That's not exactly the purpose of these. This is for mixing. And if you want to mix, you got to mix it flat so that it translates well, right? So it makes me consider, and I shouldn't, but it does make me consider getting a more powerful sub, a 15. Part of me feels like that's overkill. Part of me doesn't. Devil horns. But at the end of the day, it's been a wonderful Christmas Day gift, and I was already blessed beyond measure because this Christmas I was a lot more less sad. It's because there's no, I don't have those Christmas tree pajama party pics, family pics that everybody likes to post. Single guys are sort of on the silent side right there, and you have to learn your own way, navigate through it. And I was actually pretty much at peace. I was happy. I was chilling. I was doing stuff, and I was busy winning $10,000 speakers. How about that for Christmas? For the Christmas 2025, I was busy winning $10,000 speakers because that's what these go for. I'm not going to put I'm not going to say what they cost more than that's in my possession, but yeah. So with that being said, that's my story about how I got these studio monitors and my first impressions of how they sound. I hope y'all enjoy your holidays. I won't be live streaming in January. I'm going to take a break from that. I'm going to go outside a little bit, get some air, go look at scenery, and go from there. So with that being said, thank y'all so much for watching my channel. You're watching DAW of Choice. I'll see y'all later. Peace out.